I'm going to show you how to make a cashmere mitten with a thumb hole, okay? And you need the pattern piece, which is here, and then you cut out, you could cut your fabric on the fold. So I've folded, I've actually cut this out already. You have the fold here, this is the fold line here, and you cut out one of these. Now you'll notice I've got the nice natural ribbed end as my cuff. So it's almost like you're going to put your hand through this, you've got a nice finished off edge. But you can use this technique to include or increase your sleeve, to have a thumb hole finish on your sleeve. So what we're aiming for is a nice little neat thumb hole, turn down edge to neaten off the top edge that goes around the hand. Okay, so get it cut out, and then you'll start, this is your actual fabric for your mitten. So you can see the kind of thumb hole shape here. First thing you do is identify the right side. Oh, that's my iron buzzing, sorry. Identify the right side. So there's a rib, and this is my right side. So it's right sides together. Flip it together. And the first seam that you sew is not from the very top here. You start maybe halfway down here, and we're going to sew a 1/2 centimetre seam allowance from here around this curve and off. So I'm just going to pop that under my machine. Whoa! Oh! Crikey. That doesn't make me look very professional at all, does it? I'm just going to keep going though, because I wanted to do this in one take. Right. Not the way to do a demo. Okay, so we'll just thread that needle through there. There we go. Oh, let's see. I hope this ends up sewing. There we go. Okie dokie. So you very calmly put that to your machine, and I'm going to sew, like I said, from about here down. Hoping you can see that. Let's just go. Okay. So we're going to do, I'm going to actually just take the double off, back tacks off. So I'm just going to come forward 2 or 3 stitches, back 2 or 3. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to sew around this curve, and I'm going to make sure I do very manipulatively manipulate that so that I get to there. So you'll see when I come out where I've sewn, you can hopefully see I've sewn from here around, and I've got a big tight curve here stopping there. Then the next stage is to open it up. Open up where you, so go back just to show you, you have it like that. You want to then open this up, and you create this, the top edge across your thumb hole. So you fold it up on itself 1/2 centimetre, and we sew then from here to here. So I'm going to sew it, it'll become clear maybe once I've sewn it. So again, I'm going to back tack, and I'm sewing across. I hope you can see that. Across that seam allowance to the other side. Back tack. So then what's happened is I've formed my thumb hole at the top. So I've got it stitched here round, and then this is the bit you put back on itself, and you stitch then your thumb hole opening. Then we're going to stitch our thumb hole closed down to our cuff. So we want to do a little back tack again, and this time I'm sewing, it's around this curve down to my cuff here. So I'm going to do that. Oh yeah, 1/2 centimetre seam. I suppose you could overlock it if you wanted. So there's my cuff here, and the last bit to do, well no, there's a tiny little bit extra to do, is turn the whole thing the right way now. This is the bit that's very clever, I think. You push out your seam allowance, and if you use maybe your scissors, probably scissors are better, just to eke out that seam. So what we're going to sew now, we're going to sew wrong sides together from the top down. You can pull out that thumb hole to show you. So we're going to sew from the top down, and we're going to just come to where you've already sewn that seam there. So let me just start that to show you. So you do a little back tack again, 1/2 centimetre seam. What I tend to do is put my scissors in once it's sort of anchored with the needle, get the scissors in and just open up that seam allowance. And I'm basically wanting to sew to where my lower seam started, or near enough to there. Just overlap it just a couple of stitches. There we go. So there you've closed down that side. Then the last bit is to smooth that open. And you actually roll this down, so you turn it down like a rolled hem, and again, or a rolled cuff, I suppose you would say. And then you want to put it to the machine, and you want to just bar tack through to hold that in place. You can see where I'm doing there. I'm just going backwards and forwards, so I've bar tacked that in place. And then what you can do is make sure you do the same, you know, on the opposite side of the hand. So it's like stitch through like that to hold it in place. And then that is your little mitten done. Mitten, or if that was going to be the base of a sleeve, that would be your continuing of your sleeve. But it's a lovely way to finish off, because what we're looking at for this cashmere is how we finish off edges, making sure we get a really professional, smooth, slick finish, and handling the cashmere in the way that it wants to be handled.